What if I told you there's a white powder sitting on supplement store shelves right now, dirt cheap, backed by thousands of studies that scientists keep accidentally proving things it was never supposed to do? They studied it for muscles. It improved memory. They studied it for athletes. It strengthened bones. They tested it on young people. Older adults got even better results. And here's the part that drives researchers crazy. They still can't figure out why it keeps doing more than they expect. For 30 years, this supplement has been hiding in plain sight, trapped in the bodybuilding aisle, while the people who might benefit most have never even heard of it. Or worse, they've heard myths about it from the 1990s that scared them away. Today, we're not starting with the science, we're starting with the results, the changes people actually experience, and then we'll work backward to understand what's really going on here. By the end, you'll know exactly what this is, why it works, and whether it belongs in your daily routine. Here's what researchers didn't anticipate when they started studying this compound in older adults. A 72-year-old woman who couldn't remember her neighbor's name suddenly recalled details from conversations weeks earlier. A 68-year-old man who needed 10 minutes to recover between sets of exercises cut that recovery time in half. A 65-year-old woman who felt mentally foggy every afternoon reported feeling sharp and focused well into the evening. These aren't miracle stories. These are just regular people who added one scoop of powder to their daily routine. These weren't outliers. These were average results from people taking this supplement daily for just a few weeks. But here's what really caught researchers off guard. The people who benefited most weren't the ones hitting the gym hard. They were regular people, walkers, gardeners, people doing light exercise, or sometimes no structured exercise at all. That's when scientists realized something important. This isn't just a performance enhancer, it's a cellular energy optimizer. And when you're over 60, cellular energy is exactly what's starting to decline. So what is this mystery compound? It's called creatine. And everything you think you know about it is probably wrong. Forget everything you think you know about aging for a moment. The real problem isn't that you're getting old. The real problem is that your cells are running out of fuel more quickly than they can make it. Think of it this way. Your body is like a hybrid car. When you're young, the battery charges fast, stores energy efficiently, and delivers power on demand. But as you age, the battery doesn't hold as much charge. It takes longer to recharge. And when you need a burst of power to stand up quickly, climb stairs, remember a name, the battery sputters. That battery? It's called ATP. And creatine is essentially a battery pack that helps your cells regenerate ATP faster. Think of ATP as your body's universal currency. Creatine is basically giving every cell a line of credit. Every cell in your body uses ATP. Your muscles use it to contract. Your brain uses it to think. Your immune system uses it to fight off infections. Your bones use it to rebuild and repair. When ATP runs low, everything slows down. You feel weaker, you think slower, you recover more slowly from exercise, illness, or stress. Creatine changes that equation. Here's where things get frustrating. Creatine got branded as a bodybuilder supplement in the 1990s, and that reputation stuck like glue. Doctors don't learn about it in medical school. It's not patentable, so pharmaceutical companies can't make money promoting it. And the supplement industry has done a terrible job educating anyone who isn't a 25-year-old trying to get jacked. No fancy patents, no huge profit margins. Just boring, effective science that actually works. But here's what changed. Researchers started studying older adults specifically, not athletes, not gym enthusiasts, just regular people over 60 trying to maintain their independence and quality of life. And the results were so consistent, so significant, that major research institutions, places like Harvard, Johns Hopkins, and the Mayo Clinic, started paying attention. So let's talk about what they found. The 3 things creatine does that matter most after 60. Let's cut through the noise and focus on what actually matters for your daily life. 1. It protects your muscle mass and helps you build more. Here's a number that should concern you. After age 60, you lose about 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade. That might not sound like much, but it compounds fast. Less muscle means trouble getting up from chairs or the toilet, difficulty carrying groceries or lifting grandchildren, higher risk of falls and the devastating consequences that follow, slower metabolism and stubborn weight gain. Here's what studies show. People over 60 who take creatine while doing any kind of resistance activity, even light bodyweight exercises, preserve significantly more muscle than those who don't. One study compared two groups of people in their late 60s doing the same gentle strength routine twice a week. The creatine group maintained muscle mass. The non-creatine group continued to lose muscle despite exercising. But here's the really interesting part. The creatine group also lost fat, about 1 to 2 pounds on average without changing their diet. Why? Scientists think it's because creatine reduces chronic inflammation, which makes it easier for your body to access stored fat for energy. But honestly, they're still figuring it out. All we know is it happens consistently. 2. It keeps your brain sharp. Your brain is an energy hog. It uses 20% of your body's energy, despite being only 2% of your body weight. And as you age, your brain's ability to produce energy efficiently declines. That's why you might notice names slip away right when you need them. You lose your train of thought mid-conversation. By 3 p.m., your brain feels like it's wading through mud. Learning new things feels harder than it used to. Creatine changes this because your brain stores it as phosphocreatine, basically an emergency energy reserve. A study from 2022 gave people over 65 just 5 grams of creatine daily for 6 weeks. Memory testing showed significant improvements in short-term recall, remembering what you just heard, working memory, keeping multiple things in mind at once, processing speed, how quickly you can think through problems. But here's what participants said that wasn't in the data. They felt sharper, less foggy, more like themselves. 3. It helps your body handle stress better. This one surprised even the researchers. Stress, whether it's physical like exercise, illness, and poor sleep, or mental like worrying, grief, and busy schedules, it drains your cellular energy faster than anything else. Studies have shown that creatine acts like a buffer. It helps you maintain energy levels during stressful periods, so you don't crash as hard or take as long to recover. There's a fascinating study where sleep-deprived people were given creatine daily. Despite getting terrible sleep, their decision-making, problem-solving, and emotional regulation stayed relatively normal. Without creatine, they were a mess. Now, I'm not saying creatine replaces sleep, but if you're going through a rough patch, caring for a sick spouse, dealing with insomnia, traveling across time zones, creatine can help you function better while you work on fixing the underlying problem. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because if creatine is so great, why isn't everyone taking it? The answer: myths. Scary-sounding myths from the 1990s that refuse to die. Let's kill them one by one. Doesn't it damage your kidneys? No, and here's where the myth comes from. It's actually kind of funny once you understand it. Creatine raises something called creatinine in your blood, which doctors use to check kidney function. So people see elevated creatinine and panic. But that increase is normal and harmless when you're taking creatine. It's like checking your speedometer while you're accelerating and thinking your car is broken because the number is going up. Multiple long-term studies, you're talking years of use, show zero kidney damage in healthy people. Won't I lose my hair? This one comes from a single study in 2009 with college rugby players. The study suggested creatine might raise DHT, a hormone linked to hair loss. But here's what matters. Multiple larger studies since then found no connection whatsoever. One study specifically looked at hair follicle density, DHT levels, and testosterone for 12 weeks. Zero change. If you're avoiding creatine because of this, you're avoiding a life-changing supplement based on debunked science. Doesn't it make you bloated? Sometimes, yes, but only if you take it wrong. Creatine needs sodium to get into your muscle cells. If you're not getting enough salt, the creatine stays in the fluid around your cells, causing puffiness. The fix is ridiculously simple. Take your creatine with a pinch of salt or an electrolyte drink. Problem solved. That's it. A pinch of salt. Not some complicated protocol, just salt. Let's make this as simple as possible. What you should buy: creatine monohydrate, not the fancy versions, not the micronized or buffered stuff. Plain, cheap, boring creatine monohydrate. It's the most studied and most effective form. How much? Start with 5 to 7 grams daily. If you're very active or notice you're still losing muscle, go up to 10 to 15 grams. If you're a woman, consider adding 10 to 20% more, so 8 to 9 grams instead of 7, because research shows women naturally produce less creatine than men. When? Doesn't matter. Pick a time. Morning coffee, lunch, after dinner, and stick with it. Consistency beats timing every time. Don't overthink this. Just pick a time and make it a habit. That's what actually works. How? Mix it with water and add a pinch of sea salt, about 1/8 teaspoon, or mix it into an electrolyte drink. This dramatically improves absorption. How long? This isn't something you cycle on and off. Think of it like a multivitamin. You take it every day indefinitely. The safety data goes back decades. What to expect? You won't feel anything dramatic the first week. This isn't caffeine. But after 2 to 3 weeks, pay attention to how quickly you recover between activities, whether stairs or standing feel easier, if your thinking feels clearer, especially in the afternoon, whether you're sore for less time after physical activity. Remember how I said scientists keep accidentally finding new benefits? Here are a few more that might matter to you. Bone health. A 2024 study found that creatine doesn't increase bone density. Disappointing. But it does make bones more fracture-resistant by helping bone cells remodel more effectively. For people worried about hip fractures, that's huge. Immune function. Stronger bones without being denser? It's like upgrading from brittle plastic to flexible rubber. Way better. Creatine increases ATP in your white blood cells, making them more effective at fighting infections. It also reduces inflammatory markers throughout your body, helping your immune system stay balanced. Mood and mental resilience. Some research suggests creatine may help with low-grade depression and anxiety by improving brain energy metabolism. It's not a replacement for therapy or medication, but it might help. Creatine is incredibly safe for most people, but there are a few situations where you should talk to your doctor first. If you have kidney disease or impaired kidney function, if you're on medications that affect kidney function, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, not because it's dangerous, but because there's limited research in these populations. For everyone else, the risk is minimal and the potential benefit is enormous. When in doubt, talk to your doctor. But for most people, this is safer than most things already in your medicine cabinet. If I could only recommend one supplement to people over 60, it would be creatine. Not because it's trendy, not because it's expensive, it's not, but because the evidence is overwhelming, the safety profile is excellent, and the benefits touch nearly every system in your body that starts to decline with age. You don't need a complicated protocol. You don't need to spend a fortune. You just need 5 to 10 grams of creatine monohydrate daily, taken with a pinch of salt, consistently. That's it. 1 pinch of salt every day. That's your entire protocol. Simple enough?